2020. Order. Could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the
flag, of the United States of America,
and the republic
for which it stands,
nation under God.
as well, liberty, justice for all.
If it's not too much to ask, if since we have some new members or whatever, maybe we could introduce ourselves so that everyone
Sure.
by names and whatever. So do you want?
I'm Shelley Pender. What's your first name? Shelley.
Hi, Shelley.
Chylene. Nice to meet you.
I'm Kathy Sobieski.
Hi, Kathy.
Oh, hi, I'm Marissa Lindsay.
Hi,
Paul Lindsay.
Phyllis.
Elizabeth.
And I'm Jamie. I'm the director. So Elizabeth is our commission clerk. I'm the director of the Senior and Disabled Center. These ladies are commission members. Online, we have Kathy Flaherty. I'm sorry if I say your name wrong. She's
You
also
said it right. Kathy Flaherty.
We have one of our town councilors, Kelly DeHaas, Councilor DeHaas. She's one of our 2 liaisons on Zoom. And then Miss Lindsay is the newly elected member of the Board of Ed, correct? So that's who we have. Who I was just discussing was Ed Noivo. He's another commission member who is pretty reliable about being here. So yeah, so that's why I called them just to make sure. And we have another commissioner named Lillian Brabner who was not able to make it tonight, just so you know who's who. And then we have one more town councilor, AJ Tiniakos. He's the Democratic liaison. And I think he's going to join us online pretty soon. So just kind of, I know it's a very quick intro, but if for today, just for purposes, if you could just like say your name a couple times, just so everybody can get introed, that would be great. Okay.
Kathy Sobieski, and next is public participation. So if you have anything to participate? No?
No.
No? Okay.
Thank you for coming. We don't get public very often.
Waiting for my approval for commission.
Oh, okay.
So I checked yet this weekend, it wasn't through yet.
Okay.
So they're gonna try for
Gotcha.
Tuesday.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for coming.
All right. Okay, next is approval of the meeting minutes from last meeting. Anybody have any issues with the minutes of the way they were?
No.
No? Okay.
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
I second the motion. So
All in favor?
everybody in favor? Aye.
3 ayes. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have, next is the staff report.
Yep. So we had a very successful December, very busy December, lots and lots of programs, but extremely successful holiday season. Some of the programs that we had were throughout the month. This is January. I will just go through them. We had 2 wonderful Christmas programs. One that was like a 1,000 years of Christmas music celebration. So that he came in, he played the harpsichord. It was really nice, like really, really nice. And talked a lot about the history of holiday music. Then we had a more traditional holiday celebration the following week. And we had New Year's Eve last Tuesday. We did New Year's Eve in the afternoon. So that was really nice. Lots of craft classes. We have starting a diabetes prevention program. It's a multi-week class. The first week was called week 0, just an intro. The holidays aren't always happy for everybody. So we did have a lunch and learn about coping with holiday stress and grief. Because for those of you who, don't necessarily find them joyful, we had a program about moving your joints for mobility. Stop and Shop came by and did a clinic for vaccines for flu and COVID, walk-in clinic. And I think we could talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. We're going to ask them to come in again. We had a lunch and learn about writing a story about your life or how to tell your life story, which was very nice. We did a winter solstice meditation to kind of give everybody a stop and a break and just kind of reset while everything is busy. And as I mentioned earlier, we did a New Year program, which is pretty cool. We also began, or we will be beginning, but we did an intro session, Taiji Quan Moving for Better Balance. That is an evidence-based balance program, falls prevention program that we have run with the help of grants from the Connecticut Healthy Living Collective. We've been running it for probably 4 or 5 years now, a couple times a year. It's a 26-week class, or twice a week. So it does require some commitment by the members, but it's evidence-based.
You have to be able to stand, correct, to take that class?
I believe so. I can double check with Barbara because the curriculum has changed a little bit over the years. So I'll look at the latest. But it's a good way to help people to overcome the fear of falling through gentle movement and stretching and conversation. So we did that in December. Where's my numbers here? So we brought in December, we brought our totals available for in all of our various accounts. So just as an intro to the newer folks in the room here, our operating budget for the Senior and Disabled Center is determined by the town council, just like all town department budgets are determined by the town council. That happens for a fiscal year starting July 1st, but they start negotiating or deliberating the budget in April. And then they pass it, and then it takes effect July 1st. Actually, in March they do that. So we only have about $20,000 of operating funds in our council allocated account each year. And then they recently added some nutrition funding this past year. And then the rest of it is salaries for the 8 people who work here. So we rely quite a bit on donations, and then some of our smaller lines of income, like our coffee shop and gift shop, to really run the place. So in December, we have $15,524 in our coffee shop fund, and these funds all go towards programs unless otherwise noted. $53,277 in our gift shop. Membership donations, year to date, $60,156. Fitness memberships are $34,029. General donations, $70,677. And then our nutrition program donations. And for those of you who are new, like I'm happy to meet with you, talk to you like at your convenience, to give you a little more info about all this, so you know what I'm talking about. Is $37,849 plus the $10,000 grant that we received. So all in total, our spending, our program money to help us operate is $283,313. So we're doing very well. We are comfortable with operating at those levels without any issues.
PRT is keeping the same rate that they had given you last year.
Correct. Yeah. I have a little more info on that when we get to that part. At the last meeting, we brought up a couple of issues that we're working on. The first was lunch attendance. So again, I know I'm speaking really fast. I will go over all this with you if you're newer. Our because we are self-funded for most of it now, we're concerned about people signing up for lunch and not showing up because it costs us money. So Barbara and I are putting together a policy for if there are 3 no-shows in a determined period of time to be determined. No-shows meaning they don't call and say, hey, I can't make it today, I'm sick, because that stuff happens, especially this time of year. But if they sign up for lunch and then they don't show, we're going to give you 3 of those in a specific period of time to be determined. And if that occurs, then we were going to ask you to not attend lunch for the probably a month or 2. Sure.
Oh, have you considered having them pay ahead?
I need to probably review the whole nutrition program with you. It's very robust and complicated, and a lot of it is based on federal regulations. So, unfortunately, the payment in itself, a long story short, is voluntary, and it's anonymous. So, we don't turn people away for not being able to pay. So I'll go over everything with you. There's a lot of different funding sources. It's a whole, ask away. It's a whole class. I'll give you all of Nutrition 101. Okay.
Donation request is $3 for the
Yeah.
meal. And some people don't even pay that.
Yeah.
Some can, and I think some just
Right.
don't.
So we have a lot of different funding sources and revenues. Ask away questions. So I don't mean to discourage you from that. I just want to make sure you understand. Yeah, there's not a quick answer to that one. So yes, so we'll do that. We also have already begun addressing some of the individuals who kind of are known for doing that, or they're not like people who are out sick or anything like that. They're just people who just don't show. So we've already started addressing that with them one-on-one, confidentially, so that they understand, like, things happen, of course, but when you don't show up and we pay for that lunch, it wastes our money. And sometimes, if our lunch is full, then that means somebody else could have come in and had lunch that day.
Yeah, last week I had a doctor's appointment,
Mhm.
and I had called the ambassador to take me, and I said, please cancel my ride. He said I was coming
Yeah.
and cancel my lunch. They didn't get canceled.
Oh, okay. Well, that certainly
they
would.
ended up at my house. They called my daughter.
They came to your house. Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That's
and
too
they
bad.
asked- I was wondering if there's in the middle, but But you know how the paratransit has like the night before they tell you your ride will be there?
Mhm.
Can like somebody in the IT work something like that for here?
Oh,
So
to
they
do
can-
like a call out?
Yeah.
Sure, so
Then they might remember. Oh, I
Reminder
can't go
calls?
tomorrow.
That's
and they
my
can
pen.
call in.
I'm gonna put it in my phone. I'm not texting. I'm just putting an idea in your phone because I forgot my pen. Okay.
I know, it'd probably take us the time for people to put it.
But I wonder, well, I think we'd have to have somebody because like record,
Right.
record the message, but we might be able to do that. And then ambassador, of course. Well, no, we can do it for ambassador too.
Well,
I'll look into IT.
Well, I'm just thinking because people might forget, America, here pops the doctors and they're not even thinking about they already signed up.
Mhm.
And if they get that reminder, I would remind them to call in.
It's a good idea. Okay, so that's one item that we're addressing. The other is our beautiful brand new gym. I had mentioned that folks are going in and using it without being members of the fitness room. So we again have addressed that on an individual basis with a couple of people who we know who go in who are not gym members. We've also done robocalls, some info in the newsletter, and we'll put a sign out. I don't think we're going to get to the point where we have to like make people like key in or something like that to the gym. I think we've got it pretty much under control. But it's just something we're ongoing working. And then just so you know, a gym membership is $25 a year. But right now, because our fiscal year ends in June 30th, we are taking just half off. So if you want to come for this remainder of this fiscal year, it's $12.50 for the year to encourage people to join.
And like you've said in the past, Jamie, if I'm not mistaken, for the fitness program, it's not only you have to kind of get training for
Right.
the equipment,
Yep.
but you also have to get a doctor's note giving you authorization to be in there in the
Right.
first place.
Right. And
So that way nothing happens.
right. And you do take a quick class with Barbara Wolmer, who's our program coordinator, who I'll introduce you to, if you're here when you come by.
And
And
need a refresher because when I joined, it was years ago when I
Oh,
first started it.
we can
And
you can
so
always have a
yeah.
refresher. Yeah. So the machines are, there's some that are like typical treadmills and ellipticals and everything, and then there's some that are recumbent, which means you sit down on them, so they're good for people who have poor balance or need to sit when they exercise. So anyway, so that's good news. And then the final thing is we concluded our 40th anniversary celebration. We were looking to have the state reps were going to come in and give us a proclamation, and they've been trying to do that since like July, and we just could not get our schedules together. So they a couple weeks ago they called, they're like, "Hey, we're in Newington, can we come by?" I'm like, "You've got to be kidding me! I'm in a meeting." So Barbara took it, and they gave a nice proclamation. I'll get some pictures and post it. So that concluded our 40th anniversary celebration in a nice way. And then this isn't really I guess I could do this now on the agenda. It's kind of like budget / upcoming / I don't know if you've heard on the news, there is a possibility that there will be another government shutdown, federal government shutdown at the end of January. It's day by day, of course, nobody here knows what's going to happen. I do want to assure everybody that if the shutdown does occur again, SNAP funding will not be affected. SNAP was funded fully when the federal government reopened in November. One of the things that was fully funded for the rest of the federal fiscal year was the Department of Agriculture. So which funds SNAP. So we know we're not going to run into the issue of running out of SNAP funding again, but we do need to look and see some of like the smaller individual things, not small because things like Social Security certainly are not small, but like how might it affect their hours, might it affect that type of thing. So we'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully it seems like there's maybe a little bit of progress on it, so hopefully it won't happen, but we are aware of it. I think that's about it that's my program report.
Go on to old business for the budget update, or we kind of.
So the town budget requests were due on Friday the 2nd. So we submitted our request per the town manager. They asked for as close to a 0% increase as possible. So the only increases that we requested were very minor, things like the cable bill went up, so we need to adjust that type of thing. We're talking very small amounts of money. So that was requested. I did ask to have them fund nutrition again, as they did last year so generously, so that we can continue on. And then, as I mentioned at the last meeting, I did put in a very rare, something I never do, CIP request, capital improvement request, to upgrade our kitchen so that we could convert to in-house preparation. But that's a separate part of the budget. It gets negotiated alongside of the operating budget, and then the council votes on everything, usually around mid-April.
Nutrition program.
We are well on track. We're still funded between the council allocations to the budget and donations and sponsorships. We are funded through the end of this fiscal year still. That goalpost hasn't moved closer. So we're at a point now where we're like a well-oiled machine. We know Barbara knows what she's doing. She's got it down. Besides the issue of people not coming, she knows which restaurants will help us out, which ones give us a good discount. We still get a lot of donations, which is very helpful. So that's great. So now with that, I feel like we have a little bit of breathing room to start working on that long-term plan of switching over to doing in-house. So that's where I'm focused. Oh, yeah, here I have something to hand out. I feel like I am flying through this. So if you need me to repeat anything or slow down, just tell me. Okay, we share. And for the folks at home, let me see if I can share my screen. Hold on one second. You can see what I'm looking at. Can you see that online? It's like a document about ARPA. All right, cool. Excellent. Okay. So for those of you who are new, the Senior and Disabled Center received $90,000 in ARPA funding a year ago. That was separate from all of the town council allocated ARPA funding over the past couple of years. This was something where the federal government gave the state about $2 million in ARPA funding and said, assign it to the senior centers. So American Rescue Plan Act, it was during the pandemic. It was federal funding that was provided to municipalities during the pandemic. And then the municipalities had to decide how to spend it. But this is a little tiny, it's still the same funding, but it's a little tiny bit different because this time they gave it to the state and said, give it to senior center. So they based it on population. So Newington received a $90,000 portion of that. And what we had to do was a little different is we had to have all of our projects approved by the state. This was all done like a year ago. This has been ongoing for a long time. So we did several of the projects already, and then we have to spend the remaining money by December 31st, 2026. That's a federal thing. So we have no like leeway in that. We have to do it. So the remaining projects, have all been discussed by the commission in the past, and they were all approved by the town council and the state unit on aging. And so I just thought I'd provide a little update and a little schedule on when I plan to expend the remaining funding. So right away, I've kind of updated everybody in the last couple meetings. We are doing the giving garden update, the raised beds. So any of those flat ground level garden beds in the back are going to be replaced by raised beds, which are ADA compliant and easier for people to reach anyway. So that is an estimated $10,000. Those are the smaller beds. We already have the main beds are already raised beds. So right now, when the weather cooperates and it's not super cold out, we've been out removing the current stuff, and we might have an Eagle Scout come help us do that actually. And then to be prepared for as soon as the weather cooperates in March, like when the ground thaws and isn't super muddy, then we'll have the new ones built. In February, we're going to do our information campaign. That's another approved ARPA project. For those of you who are new, Newington's population of older adults is nearly 11,000 people, which is nearly a third of Newington's population. So we have a very aged population in Newington compared to a lot of other like towns.
And what's the age range?
So for the age range for the senior center is 55 and up, or disabled adults age 18 and up. The age range that the state uses is 60 and up. So it's so there's going to be some 55 to
55 and
it's 60 and up, but we serve 55 and up. Yeah. Oh, I'll come back to my computer so they can hear me at home. And what we can't capture is how many households or how many disabled population, because disabled, you don't go report somewhere, that you're disabled. So anybody who's age 18 and up and disabled is also eligible to join the senior center. Now we're super busy. Like we are packed every day. We have about 1,800 members. What the old director, Diane Stone, always said was, we can't have everybody because the building would be, packed to the gills. You won't be able to move, but we do want everybody to know we exist, right? So this campaign is going to be a very large information campaign. When you work with older adults, you realize that you're going to get the information out in many different ways. So mailers is one effective way to do it. That's going to be the main cost of this program is we're going to have data mail due. We're going to put together mailers and we're going to have data mail put them out. Whether they go to every household in Newington or they just go to the older adult households, will depend on the cost and see where we come in on costs. But we'll also be having online social media information, the same materials that we mail out will be online on social media. We'll try to get into like the rare reminder, the newspaper, that kind of stuff. We are going to have Spanish available upon request, and we're also going to have them translated perhaps into a couple of other languages too. And then we have an intern starting from CCSU who's going to help me with that. So that'll be coming up. That's going to be one of our very close range projects. In March and April, this is a pretty simple one, but fun. New furniture for the TV lounge. More comfortable furniture, more accessible furniture. Do you like it?
I one of the guys falls asleep.
There's one gentleman who enjoys that recliner, but it's a standing, so it'll help you get up, so accessible furniture that's easy to get in and out of, but also maybe a little more comfortable than what we have now. So that's one. April to May, we'll be starting our adventure club, which I've been trying to start since March of 2020, and then the pandemic happened, and then budgets happened, and we lost our funding for it, but now we have it back. So we don't have a part-time dial ride driver yet. We've been searching for months. We almost had one, and unfortunately it fell through. Once we get one, we can get going on that project, but I'm going to start purchasing for it things like museum passes, tickets to shows, things like that. So it'll be day trips, using our dial ride for solar small day trips, Yeah, oh yeah, definitely restaurants, things like that. But I could start, but the $7,500 allocated to that is seed money to get people interested and involved, and you could start, doing it for no charge, and then we'll probably have like a small fee to join the adventure club that'll help cover the cost moving forward. We cannot use that funding to pay a driver.
What is it? I can't see the new name for the new driver.
Janila.
Is she only part-time?
Janila is our 25-hour per week ASME union driver, and then Michelle's our head driver. She's our full-timer. They both drive all day, so we can't really have them do like we can't pull one of them off of the road to send them to go to a show or whatever. So we have funding, we have a budget for a 19-hour part-time week driver, non-union part-time driver that would do a combination of regular routes and runs on our busy days, and then do the extras and things like we used to do before the pandemic that we, but all senior centers are having a very hard time getting drivers. Oh, I don't know why. They're just so we'll keep working on it. And then the last one, the biggest one, is our makerspace room. So if anybody has seen the wood shop, it's great, but not very many people. We have a couple of gentlemen who use it, which they're welcome to continue to use. But for the size of that room, we have funding to make it into a makerspace, which is a place where you can try all different types of things, all different types of crafts or building, or utilizing like what do you call it? A Cricut, that type of thing, 3D printing, any other kind of craft you could think of. So the wood shop items, the tools and the equipment will remain, but we're going to renovate the room to allow for more than just woodworking to go on in there. Yeah. So right now I'm working on looking at there's a good one at CCSU, good makerspace. There's a couple of libraries that have them. I'm going to kind of look around and see what works for people and what doesn't, and then we'll get going on it. Any questions on ARPA?
Back to door counters, which is
Sorry.
it's not.
And we don't have any updates on door counters. Yep, it's an IT issue for years and years and years. Okay.
Okay, we'll move on to new business for upcoming activities.
Yep. There are tons. So everybody should have a January connection. And I think I say this every month, but Barbara outdid herself, our program coordinator. The first couple pages are all special programs. So whatever you might be interested in, maybe you have a New Year's resolution, maybe you don't, that's fine too. You could probably find a special program that it would be fun or informative or something you want to take a look at. So we have, we always have things about balance and strength. And this one, we have one about, actually, that one already passed, never mind. What day is today? That's right. We have that Tai Chi Kwan series is beginning. It actually began today. And that's going to that 24-week series that's going to be ongoing for balance. We have the library coming in for a coffee hour to discuss what's going on there. We have information on how to save money on prescription drugs. Our evening program this week is a wellness drumming, which is so fun. I hope that anybody who wants to come join us will do so. It's hands-on, so you actually get to drum. Diabetes prevention is something we do often. A vision board is, if you're not familiar with that, it's like kind of like Pinterest if you've ever used it, but in person. So you put up different ideas of things that you like or want to do, or things that you might want to make for your goals moving forward. oh gosh, there's so many other things too. I don't want to go through all of them, but we'll, of course, we always do our crafts, our Valentine cards. We have our Cupid crew is coming in and they make Valentine's Day cards for Meals on Wheels recipients, which is really nice. More art classes, a finance trivia. We have a new painting class and pickleball and our monthly talk with the mayor. So tons and tons. Those are our special programs. And we have all of our normal everyday activities that we do as well. Be on the lookout for tax appointments. I'm just waiting on confirmation from the AARP volunteers that they're going to use the same schedule as last year. And then we will open, a lot of people have called, we'll open up tax appointments. So we have free tax prep here in the Senior and Disabled Center. It is funded through AARP. So it's indicated for people ages 55 and up and maybe with a lower or moderate income, but anybody can use it. Anybody can make an appointment to get your taxes done for free. It's if the schedule is the same as last year, it'll be Thursdays, starting probably like end of January through April 15th. And it'll be in this room. So we have probably 8 or 10 appointments. Oh, we have a lot of appointments per day. I forget what we have. We have like 6 or so volunteers who will do it, and they allocate, an hour or so for an appointment. So they have a lot of appointments, but they do fill up. So once the head volunteer confirms the schedule, we will open that up and I'll put it in a robocall so people know. So that'll be coming up soon. I kind of mentioned before, I don't know if you were aware, if you've seen on the news, flu is on the rise very severely in Connecticut. The hospitalizations of flu or flu-like illnesses are 10 times what they were this time last year, which is pretty wild. And flu cases are up like 186% like the past couple weeks. So you'll hear information here. And then it's hard to find COVID numbers now, but hearing from the health district is COVID is on the rise as well. RSV, nasty colds with flus, unknown viruses, it's all happening. So we are just kind of putting the word out there to please stay home if you're sick. If you don't feel well, if you have a fever, cover your mouth, use hand sanitizer. If you prefer a vaccine, get a vaccine. We can help with rides, that type of thing. So that's just information that we have out there to try to keep everybody healthy, because we've seen it too. Like it's going through the staff. It went through exercise class canceled for tonight because the instructor went through our volunteers. We had even our New Year's Day program. We had like 20 people call and say like we can't make it. Yeah, because they're sick. So everybody stay healthy. If we get any info from our health district or Central Connecticut Health District, we pass that along. But it's basics. It's stay home if you're sick, wash your hands.
I haven't got my flu shot because they're waiting for my doctor's appointment, because I always get them in the office. No, they don't do it anymore.
You can
So
go.
I went to see.
I would say you can go to any pharmacy. Yeah,
But I was waiting because I had an appointment.
Mhm.
and they don't give-
it's too bad. Yeah,
The current flu shot doesn't cover the flu
doesn't.
type A.
It doesn't. It's like a new hybrid of flu.
It's not.
Yeah.
It may lessen things, but it's not going to.
What the health district said, it's not going to prevent the new strain of flu, but it could mitigate the symptoms and make it last not quite so long. So if I know vaccines are like a personal decision, but if you should desire to get one, we recommend you do it for sure. So any questions on upcoming stuff?
Anything for building update? Or?
We are in good shape. If you walk around the building, you see we have had our facilities department coming and doing like little things like fixing doors that slam too hard, realigning cabinets, just little maintenance things here and there, because they've done a great job of keeping up our building. We've had no issues this year. So that's going on. So you see the IT department here a lot. As you know, we have our new security system, our new cameras. Those are all working very well. Our key fob door locks. Had a couple of little learning curve issues with that, but it's working very well. The food bank, the Newington Human Services Food Bank, we are still storing a lot of their food. We had, prior to Christmas, taken some of their food because they're at capacity there. Then they came and picked it up because they needed it. And then a couple weeks ago, we had a literal school bus show up. So the Martin Kellogg and John Wallace kids did a huge food drive. It was awesome. And they showed up with a school bus full of food and about 10 or 15 middle school kids. And they put it up on our stage. So that was great. So and then last week, the high school students, the high school track team came by and they organized it all. So it's all organized by type. So it's really, really great to see the students and the kids helping out. And I think they enjoyed it too, so that's, I mean, it's the need is very high with the food bank still. And it's always tough over the winter because right after Christmas donations slow down everything else. So we are absolutely thrilled and happy to be helping them out with that. And we'll keep whatever they need. The last shipment of it, like I said, within a couple of days, they came and got it and put it across in the food bank. Yeah, it goes very fast.
I noticed there's a high school student, I don't remember her name, her mother's Sandra Lee, but she's putting boxes where like at commuter cafe and different
Oh,
places,
nice.
collecting food for the food bank.
That's great.
I says, wow,
Yeah.
that was great. I wouldn't have thought of doing that when I was younger.
Oh, kids are, I'm telling you, the kids, I have a high schooler and a middle schooler. They're good. They're really, really good. They're very community oriented. So yep, so that's pretty much it going on in the building. Nothing.
Any purchase requests? If no. Okay. We need to determine the next meeting date.
Right, so I had to put in our notice to the town clerk of what our meeting schedule will be for the year. That doesn't mean we can't change it. It just means that we set regular meetings. So it's stayed the same, first Wednesday of every month at 6 o'clock, except for July and August, because we don't meet over the summer. Sometimes we cancel the June one too, if there's not a ton going on. So the next meeting would be, February 4th. Yep, at 6 o'clock here or on Zoom.
Now we're on to public participation. Anything?
I was curious about the gym. The one who's in charge of that, is that a volunteer or a paid person?
I'm sorry, do you mind just stating your name for the record so that you can take the minutes? I don't get to say that very often in this one. You say it in the council meetings all the time.
L-E-N-Z-I.
Our fitness room is open to anybody ages 55 and up or 18 and up with a disability. So any member. It's run by the staff, like we have a very small staff, so we kind of all work together, all hands on deck. But the person I was referring to earlier, Barbara Wilmer, she's a staff member. She's our program coordinator. And by trade, she's an exercise physiologist in like a past life. So what she does is once you become a fitness member, like I said, it's the best deal for a gym you're going to get, $25 for a year. And then you could come and use the gym Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30, we're open. So just for safety purposes, Barbara, before you're allowed to use the gym, once you join, she'll do a quick class with you to show you how to use all the various equipment and go over safety.
I didn't know if it needed volunteers or anything.
I would recommend you speak to Barbara if you're anybody who's interested in volunteering. We can always use volunteers. We have a tiny staff, right? There's 8 of us, but we have about 75 volunteers. So doing some people volunteer every day, some people volunteer doing multiple things like we have here for both these ladies. And then some people just volunteer here and there as we need it. So
I have a question, but it's not really related to this. If, all the baby boomers are getting older now, and many of them have like dementia and stuff, are your employees trained to work with those kind of people? I mean, have they had?
So there is some training, but it's very basic training that we take on dementia or other things too, but not just that we can take on that as part of our professional development. The reason we don't become like certified like dementia experts is because we're not a caregiving facility, we're a community center. So yeah.
Some people forget to call in.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I will tell you, even without formal training, like Charlene in the front office staff, we know. And we're not just blaming people. If they miss a ride or they miss lunch, we're not calling up and yelling at them. You see patterns of certain people, they do need a little reminder. And then certain people just like, yeah, I don't feel like coming, so just like everything else in life. But for sure, we definitely, and dementia has increased since the pandemic as a side effect of social isolation. So, we definitely every day we deal with it. Yeah.
A couple of my club members
Mhm.
forget things.
Yeah.
One lady, I have to call her husband to tell her when we're having
Yep.
meetings because she doesn't remember.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll send like if we have somebody with dementia who rides the dial ride bus, we will send them like a big large reminder to put like on the refrigerator, like this is what you need to do when the bus comes, that kind of thing. So we definitely help people out. We're never just gonna be like sorry, we're not gonna do this for you anymore. But yeah, we just want to make sure we're not losing money on lunch. That's all, because it's so tight, the funding. I know that.
$3.
I know.
You can't go to McDonald's for
No,
$3.
not even close.
see if I can chime in on that, that even though I'm here doing the coffee shop or whatever, I think the staff here is wonderful because they also are in tune with who hasn't come in a while.
Mhm.
Is, to say is something changed. I
Mhm.
mean, if it's just not, well, they didn't show up or whatever,
Yeah.
it might be, who knows, their circumstances changed and they might now be having gone to a nursing
Right.
home or an
Right.
assisted living center.
Right.
If they're used to seeing the same people come and then they stop coming, it's kind of almost like a like a wellness check in a
Right.
way, is to make sure that
They do
okay,
that.
has something
Something.
transpired, because you don't know if there's family members around or things like that. And I've seen that from the staff here that they, said, oh, so and so, I haven't seen somebody or whatever, and they'll be like, yeah, no, they've had to go to a rehab facility or something like that to kind of check on.
And they do well, Chair.
We reach out, and we will, if we're really concerned about somebody, we will call the police and say, can you guys just go check on this person? They never miss, they never miss their bus, why are they not out there, kind of deal. We try to call and they didn't answer. If we try to call their emergency contact and if they don't know where they are, then we'll call and just make sure. Most of the time it's nothing, but you never know.
Right.
So
Always
Yeah.
good to be
yeah,
proactive.
exactly.
Motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All in
All in
favor?
favor? Aye.
We have eyes on the.
I don't think anybody's gonna say no.
No, no one wants to stay. All right. Thank you so much. This was a very quick meeting, but efficient, so I like it. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody. Good night.
Is the building still gonna be
Thanks,
open?
everybody. Bye.
Sorry?
Is the building gonna be open for